When the night still blanketed the Tanzanian savanna in a cold blue darkness, the Hadzabe camp was already beginning to stir. The previous night's fire had dwindled to glowing embers, but the hunters quietly prepared for a special expedition. They carried bows and arrows, wooden spears, small knives, and their trusted hunting dogs. Few words were spoken, as everyone understood that they were not setting out in search of small game hidden among the bushes. Their target was a massive Cape buffalo that was often seen near the low grasslands, and if fortune favored them, they might even encounter an old rhinoceros wandering across the dry terrain near the edge of the open woodland. As the first light of dawn appeared over the horizon, the group left the camp. Their footsteps were so light that they barely disturbed the dry grass beneath them. The lead hunter crouched low, carefully examining every deep hoof print pressed into the soft earth, every patch of flattened grass, and every shrub that had recently been broken by a powerful charge. For the Hadzabe, hunting a Cape buffalo was an extraordinarily dangerous challenge. The animal's massive body, powerful curved horns, and unpredictable temperament made it one of the most formidable creatures on the savanna. A cornered buffalo could turn and charge without warning, making patience the hunter's greatest weapon. After hours of tracking, they finally spotted a herd of buffalo moving slowly across the open grassland. Instantly, the hunters lowered themselves and spread out behind thorny bushes to avoid being detected. The oldest hunter watched carefully for a long time, waiting until one aging buffalo drifted away from the herd and moved closer to a patch of low trees. Once it was within range, the first arrow was released, followed moments later by several more from different directions. Startled, the buffalo threw its head upward and surged forward, sending clouds of dust swirling into the air. The hunters immediately retreated behind large trees, staying clear of its charging path. During the tense minutes that followed, no one dared approach. They simply observed the animal's heavy movements from a safe distance, waiting for it to weaken as exhaustion gradually took its toll. To the Hadzabe, success was never about confronting their prey head-on, but about understanding its behavior and knowing the right moment to act. As the buffalo hunt came to an end, the group continued deeper into the dry country. By then, the sun stood high overhead, filling the air with heavy heat and an almost complete silence. Suddenly, one of the hunters walking ahead noticed enormous footprints clearly impressed into the hardened ground. Before long, they spotted an old rhinoceros standing beside a low shrub, calmly using its horn to sweep aside dirt and dry leaves. The entire group froze at once. A rhinoceros was never an animal to underestimate. Its enormous size, thick hide, and overwhelming strength meant that even the smallest mistake could end in disaster. The hunters did not approach the animal directly. Instead, they circled to remain downwind, kept a considerable distance, and moved only when the rhinoceros lowered its head to feed on leaves. Every step was carefully calculated. When the old rhino finally entered an open stretch of ground, a single arrow was released, and the hunters immediately withdrew behind large bushes. The animal spun around, drove its horn forcefully into ground, and charged away in a burst of agitation. It took a long time before the rhinoceros finally began to slow down. The hunters patiently followed from a safe distance, never allowing themselves to be drawn into a dangerous position. Only when they were certain that the animal no longer had the strength to mount a powerful counterattack did they cautiously move closer. That day's expedition became one of the greatest challenges the group had ever faced. From a fierce Cape buffalo to the immensely powerful old rhinoceros, every moment demanded calm judgment, years of experience, and absolute teamwork. By late afternoon, the hunters returned to the camp, where the entire community was waiting to welcome them home. Those who had remained behind quickly stepped forward to help divide the meat, gather firewood, and build a large fire at the center of the camp. As the first pieces of meat were placed over the glowing coals, their rich aroma spread through the air, washing away the exhaustion of a long day on the Savanna. The elders sat beside the fire, recounting every dangerous moment of the expedition, while the children listened with complete attention, as though learning one of life's most important lessons about nature. The entire community gathered around the warm meal together. No one regarded the day's catch as merely food. To the Hadzabe, it represented the reward for courage, patience, and the wisdom passed down through countless generations. Across the vast wilderness, every hunt did more than ensure their survival. It strengthened the bonds of the tribe and kept their stories, skills, and enduring spirit of survival alive around the fire. As dawn breaks over Savanna, the Hadzabe men leave their camp carrying wooden bows and a handful of arrows. They walk in silence, studying the landscape and the footprints left in the soil to determine the direction of their prey. Before entering the forest, every bow and arrow is carefully prepared for the hunt, following techniques that have been passed down through generations. Unlike many hunters who focus on a single target, the Hadzabe are always ready to change their plans according to what nature presents. When they hear movement coming from the trees ahead, the entire group immediately changes direction. A few hunters quietly spread out to the sides, while the others patiently move forward to close the distance. Only when a monkey stops on a low branch is an arrow finally released. The prey quickly falls, and the hunting party gathers everything before continuing their journey. Leaving that area behind, the hunters continue across low shrubs and dry terrain. Before long, they discover a group of wild boars digging for roots and tubers. No one rushes forward. Everyone silently adjusts their position, using tall grass and tree trunks as cover while moving closer. Once they are within effective range, the first arrow is released, sending the entire herd into panic. One wild boar is successfully brought down, and the group quickly finishes their work before leaving the area. The hunt is still not over. On the way back, the constant calls of birds echo from the treetops, causing everyone to stop. One hunter slowly raises his bow, patiently waits for a bird to settle on a branch, and then releases a perfectly aimed arrow. For the Hadzabe, every animal, whether large or small, is valuable because what matters is not the size of the prey, but providing enough food for the entire community. From a distance, children run out to welcome the hunters returning to camp. The women quickly light the fire, prepare the meat, and divide it among everyone. No one asks who fired the first successful shot or who achieved the greatest accomplishment. As soon as the game arrives at the camp, all of the meat becomes shared property. Sharing happens naturally as an inseparable part of life within the community. For the Hadzabe, hunting skill is not measured only by the ability to use a bow and arrow, but also by patience and teamwork. Every member clearly understands their role throughout the journey. Some observe, others search for the best positions, while others stand ready to assist whenever needed. This strong coordination allows them to adapt to different situations without exchanging many words. Hunting trips also serve as an important way for younger generations to learn from their elders. They watch how experienced hunters move, choose the right moment to approach their prey, and remain calm under every circumstance. Each skill is passed down through hands-on experience rather than books, becoming an essential part of tribal life from one generation to the next. What makes the Hadzabe way of life truly remarkable is not only their ability to find food in the wild, but also their spirit of sharing. Today, one hunter may return with a monkey, and tomorrow someone else may bring back a wild boar. But in the end, every success is shared with the entire community. No one keeps more than they need because they understand that unity will always matter more than the achievements of any individual. Even today, the hunting expeditions of the Hadzabe continue to reflect a way of life that has endured for countless generations. From their simple bows and carefully prepared arrows to the way everyone shares the results of the hunt, everything demonstrates the deep bond between people, nature, and their own community. If you would like to discover more stories about hunting and the unique culture of the Hadzabe tribe, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us on future journeys.
On the vast savanna surrounding Lake Eyasi in Tanzania, there is a predator that even the most experienced hunters of the Hadzabe people treat with exceptional caution. Unlike hyenas that move in packs, or herds of antelope and buffalo that leave behind obvious and easy-to-read traces, this animal blends almost completely into the natural landscape. It is the leopard, a solitary hunter with extraordinary speed and near-perfect camouflage. Today, the Hadzabe men begin an unusual journey, tracking the signs of a leopard that has been repeatedly seen around their familiar hunting grounds. As the first rays of sunlight appear on the horizon, the hunting group silently leaves the camp. Their bows are checked one final time, and their arrows are carefully secured in quivers on their backs. Almost no one speaks. For the Hadzabe people, an effective hunt always begins with careful observation rather than rushed action. They move along narrow paths winding through thorny bushes, attentively searching for details most people would never notice. A scratch on a tree trunk, a few blades of flattened grass, or faint footprints on soft ground can all lead them closer to their target. It does not take long before the first sign appears. On a patch of ground still damp from a light rain the night before, large round footprints are clearly visible. The hunters quickly confirm that these are not the tracks of hyenas or wild dogs. The spacing between the steps shows that the animal was moving slowly yet confidently. This typically happens only when a leopard is fully in control of its territory. The group immediately adjusts its formation, maintaining visibility while minimizing any noise. As they move deeper into an area dominated by acacia trees, the clues become more frequent. Beneath one tree trunk lie scattered feathers. Farther ahead are the remains of a small antelope dragged into the shade. With their experience, the Hadzabe recognize this as a sign that the leopard may not be far away. No one tries to move faster. Instead, their steps become even slower and more cautious. In an encounter with a leopard, haste usually means failure. When they approach a large cluster of trees, the entire group suddenly stops. One of them quietly points upward. Several meters above the ground, the remains of a kill are caught among the branches. The Hadzabe understand this behavior well. Leopards often drag their prey into trees to keep it safe from scavengers such as hyenas or wild dogs. If the carcass is still there, there is a strong chance the leopard will return. Rather than moving closer, the hunters choose a strategic observation point. They patiently monitor the surroundings, feel the wind direction, and listen carefully to every faint sound from the canopy. Patience is always a key element in Hadzabe hunting practice. They believe nature rewards those who wait at the right moment. A very subtle movement in the distance immediately draws the group's attention. Among shifting patches of light and shadow beneath the trees, a golden body covered in black rosettes appears and disappears in an instant. The leopard is quietly watching the intruders entering its territory. The atmosphere instantly grows tense. The hunters remain completely still, avoiding any sudden movement. They know they are facing one of the fastest and most unpredictable predators on the savanna. After a short period of observation, the leopard decides to leave. It slips silently through the bushes with almost no sound and disappears into the sparse woodland in the distance. The hunters do not follow. For the Hadzabe people, the purpose of a journey is not always to capture an animal. Sometimes, understanding its behavior, territory, and survival patterns is far more valuable. As the sun rises higher, the group begins their return to camp. Along the way, they collect wild fruits and search for honey in small beehives hidden inside hollow tree trunks. These activities feel like a natural part of daily life. Upon returning, they quickly light a fire, prepare food, and share the results of their journey. The afternoon passes in a peaceful atmosphere. Some repair their bows and arrows, while others tell children about the encounter with the leopard among the sparse woodland. On the land that has sustained their community for thousands of years, the Hadzabe people continue to preserve the ancient traditions of their ancestors. And with every footprint discovered and every journey across the savanna, Another chapter is added to the remarkable story of survival that this tribe continues to write across generations.
As the first rays of sunlight bathed the vast savanna surrounding Lake Icy in golden light, the Hadzabe camp was already beginning to awaken. A thin veil of mist still lingered over the low thorn bushes, while the calls of birds signaled the start of a new day. Beside the glowing embers that had burned through the night, the hunters quietly checked their bows and arrows, spears, and the small hatchets they always carried with them. Today's journey was not aimed at the familiar small game, but at two of the region's greatest challenges: a lion patrolling its territory and a herd of antelope that often appear on the open grasslands early in the morning. Once everything was ready, the group quickly left the camp. They moved in single file across the dew-covered grass, making almost no sound at all. The Hadzabe understood that in the wilderness, haste often came at a heavy price. Their first destination was an area where numerous predator tracks had been discovered the previous afternoon. Before long, large paw prints with clearly defined toes appeared on the dry ground, stretching between the bushes. Mixed among them were flattened patches of grass and the drag marks of a long tail sweeping across the earth. Together, these signs revealed that the lion had passed through not long before. The group immediately slowed their pace and spread out to observe from different directions. After tracking the trail for a considerable distance, they spotted a male lion resting beneath the shade of a large acacia tree after its nighttime hunt. Its thick mane stood out against the golden grass, while its eyes remained alert, constantly scanning the surroundings despite its nearly motionless body. No one dared move too close, knowing that a single charge on the animal could become extremely dangerous. The hunters silently used the terrain and the direction of the wind to close the distance. When the opportunity finally came, arrows flew in rapid succession from several different positions. Caught off guard, the lion let out a thunderous roar before bursting from its hiding place and disappearing into the dense bushes. The pursuit continued for hours beneath the increasingly scorching sun. The Hadzabe patiently followed every footprint, every freshly broken blade of grass, and even the tiny drops of blood left behind on the ground. No one showed the slightest sign of impatience, fully aware that a single moment of distraction could give the wounded animal the chance to turn and strike back. After a long and determined effort, the lion finally collapsed in the middle of the open grassland, bringing the day's first challenging hunt to an end. After a short rest to regain their strength, the group continued toward the sweeping grasslands where herds of antelope often graze in the afternoon. A gentle breeze carried the scent of dry grass, while countless small hoofprints crisscross the ground, forming familiar trails. The low shrubs also revealed clear signs of feeding, with tender leaves stripped away, leaving only bare twigs behind. The lead hunter quickly identified the herd's direction of travel and signaled everyone to spread out. They moved forward with great care, using every mound of earth and clump of bushes as cover while making sure the wind never carried their scent toward the prey. A few minutes later, the herd of antelope appeared in the open grassland, occasionally lifting their heads to scan the surroundings before lowering them again to graze. They were well known for their keen hearing and explosive speed at the first sign of danger. For that reason, the Hadzabe advanced only when the herd let its guard down. When one mature antelope drifted away from the group and headed toward a patch of fresh grass, a volley of arrows was released at once. The animal immediately sprinted away at tremendous speed, but the hunters calmly followed its tracks and direction of travel across the grasslands. After a long pursuit, the antelope gradually succumbed to exhaustion and finally collapsed, becoming the second successful catch of the journey. By late afternoon, the hunters returned to the camp to the joyful cheers of children and the elders who had been waiting for them. Everyone gathered to divide the game, carefully clean it, and roast the meat over glowing coals. The aroma of roasted meat filled the camp, blending with the crackling of burning wood and the lively conversations that followed a long day of hard work. Children, adults, and elders sat together around the fire, sharing a simple yet deeply meaningful meal. For the Hadzabe, every hunting expedition was more than just a way to provide food for community. It was an opportunity to share the reward of their efforts, strengthen their bonds with one another, and preserve a way of life that has endured for countless generations.
Can you believe it? There is still a primitive tribe like this in the world today. They live by hunting, without houses, without money. They are among the last members of the Hadzabe tribe, still living the way our ancestors did tens of thousands of years ago. All they have is an absolute understanding of this land, but today, on the savanna of Tanzania, nature has placed them in a dangerous situation. An apex predator is watching them from the bushes. How will these masters of survival face a leopard when all they have in their hands are a few poisoned arrows? dawn on the savanna begins in silence. The Hadzabe check their weapons before the hunt, without spoken orders or any tactical plan. Every arrow is sharpened, every bowstring made from animal tendons is pulled tight. To them, weapons are not tools for reckless attack, but a line of defense that protects the entire tribe. They walk without needing a map. Each member moves like part of one united body, instinctively knowing their position. The initial target is small animals, enough to provide food for the day, but the surroundings suddenly change. Before them is the sight of a leopard carrying its prey, an impala that has just been brought down. The entire group quickly moves closer, reaching a distance short enough to make use of the power of the bow. No one acts in a hurry, because one mistake could cause the leopard to turn back and attack. The most experienced hunters slowly raise their bows, wait for the right moment, and release poisoned arrows. A precise shot, combined with the determination of the whole group, forces the leopard to retreat and leave the area. Only after the leopard disappears behind the bushes do they begin to move in and collect the most valuable portions of meat. The confrontation ends without any hunter being injured. After leaving the leopard's territory, the group continues deeper into the savanna and discovers large, fresh tracks on the dry ground. The leader bends down to study them carefully, then signals everyone to stay silent. These are the tracks of a herd of wild buffalo. For the Hadzabe, this is not an easy prey to approach, because if provoked, it can charge forward with enough power to bring down anyone in its path. The group immediately changes formation, follows the direction of the wind, and moves step by step through the tall grass. No one rushes. They wait until one buffalo stops in an open space ahead, then the hunters slowly raise their bows. Poisoned arrows are released in a brief, decisive moment. For the Hadzabe, hunting wild buffalo requires not only courage, but also calmness, coordination, and a clear understanding of the line between victory and danger. When the hunt is over, the group brings the meat back to camp, where everyone is waiting. The atmosphere quickly becomes warmer as the fire is lit, the adults prepare the meat, and the children sit nearby, watching and listening to stories from the journey. For the Hadzabe, a meal is not only about satisfying hunger, but also a moment for the entire community to share the reward of a day spent facing the savanna. They do not take too much, and they do not waste any part that can be used. Each piece of meat is shared according to the needs of everyone, from the hunters to the elders and the children. It is this simplicity that has helped them maintain a hunter-gatherer way of life for tens of thousands of years, while many great civilizations have gradually disappeared. Looking at them, one question arises: are modern humans accumulating too much while losing their sense of balance? If you had to face a leopard or a wild buffalo in that situation, would you choose to move forward or step back like the Hadzabe? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next journeys of exploration.
When the sun rises over the plains of Tanzania, the Hadzabe begin a buffalo hunt that has been planned for days. African buffalo are capable of traveling long distances, so the tracks found the day before never guarantee that the herd is still nearby. Knowing this, the hunters prepare themselves for a journey that will be longer and more demanding than an ordinary hunt. After leaving their camp, the group quickly follows the first signs left on the ground. Large hoof prints stand out clearly in the dry season soil, giving them a starting direction. During the first part of the journey, everything goes smoothly as fresh signs continue to appear, reinforcing their confidence that they are on the right path. But as the sun climbs higher, the tracks become fewer and farther between. In some places, they almost disappear into the vast grasslands, forcing the group to slow down, study their surroundings more carefully, and patiently search for every remaining clue. After hours of patiently following the fading trail across the Savanna, the group's efforts are finally rewarded. The clues they discovered early that morning lead them exactly where they need to be. This is a defining moment of the entire journey. Guided by experience, teamwork, and hunting skills passed down through countless generations, they accomplish the goal they set before sunrise. The long hours spent walking beneath the scorching dry season sun have finally paid off. The The hunt is more than a successful harvest. It is proof of the Hadzabe's patience and deep understanding of the natural world. Every step, every track, and every decision along the way plays a part in the group's success. On the vast landscapes of Tanzania, every trail has the potential to tell a new story. Let us know which moment from this journey impressed you the most. After returning from the hunt, the Hadzabe have little time to rest. Another important task awaits them, preparing a meal from everything they brought back from the Savanna. Each piece of food is carefully processed using knowledge gained through generations of living closely with nature. Once everything is ready, the cooking begins. While the earlier hours were devoted to preparation, everyone's attention now shifts to the fire and the food. The most experienced members carefully oversee each step to ensure everything turns out as intended. As the meal slowly cooks, the group relaxes and talks about the day's events. The buffalo hunt, the long journey across the Savanna, and the unexpected opportunities they encounter along the way quickly become the main topics of conversation. Unlike the tense atmosphere of the hunt, these conversations now unfold in a calm and peaceful setting. After a long journey across the Savanna and hours of preparing the meal, everyone coin finally gathers together to enjoy the rewards of their hard work. The meal is shared in a calm and relaxed atmosphere. The long miles beneath the scorching dry season sun are now behind them, replaced by the satisfaction of completing a full day of effort. Conversations flow naturally throughout the community. Some recall the distance they covered. Others remember spotting the first buffalo tracks, while a few share stories about the unexpected opportunities nature presented along the way. The meal gradually becomes the heart of the gathering, giving everyone a chance to enjoy both the food and a well-earned moment of rest. Perhaps the greatest reward is not simply what they brought home from the Savanna, but the opportunity to spend this time together in the vast wilderness of Tanzania. What makes the day truly memorable is not only the final result, but the entire journey, the tracks they followed, the unexpected moments they experienced, and the long distance they traveled. Every day on the Savanna tells a different story. Subscribe to the channel and join us for more incredible adventures.
The year 2026 is often seen as the age of artificial intelligence and smart cities. Yet on the edge of the forest near Lake Eyasi in northern Tanzania, the Hadzabe people still wake up the same way they have for tens of thousands of years. Bare feet on the earth, a wooden bow in hand, listening to the forest before taking the first step. This coexistence is not a confrontation. But it forces us to ask a difficult question: what is progress? And does every society need to follow the same path? The Hadzabe men move quietly into the forest. There is no excitement of conquest, no sense of achievement to prove. They do not hunt to show strength or skill. They hunt because the survival of the community depends on it. In this forest, small animals, familiar parts of the ecosystem, are not seen simply as prey but as links in the cycle of life, a cycle humans themselves depend on. Every arrow is released only after careful observation and consideration. The bowstring is drawn tight. The decisive moment comes quickly and precisely, without delay, without excess. When the animal falls, the group remains silent. No cheering, no celebration. That moment is not a religious ritual but an acknowledgement of a law of life. One life continues because another has ended. In the Hadzabe worldview, hunting is not about dominating nature. It is a harsh but honest exchange, where humans do not place themselves above the environment that sustains them. As the journey continues, they come across a herd of wild buffalo, large and watchful animals that can become extremely dangerous when threatened. The Hadzabe know this animal well. They move carefully, weighing every decision. Arrows are released. When one buffalo is struck, the hunters keep their distance. No one says it out loud, but everyone understands. One wrong step, and not everyone may return. The buffalo runs for a distance before slowly weakening. The Hadzabe move closer, still alert, still cautious. The hunt ends. There is no feeling of victory. Only a heavy silence remains. They do not hunt to win. They hunt to live. The meat is brought back to the camp. They light the fire. Pieces of meat are roasted directly over the glowing coals, then divided into equal portions. No one eats first. No one keeps the best part for themselves. The meal takes place on the bare ground. Children, elders, hunters, and visitors all sit together. Here, eating is not only about easing hunger. It is a confirmation that the community remains whole. The Hadzabe do not ask, "What will we become in the future?" They ask, "Are we still together today?" For many people in the modern world, this simplicity can be surprising. But in the flickering light of the fire, what becomes clear is not a lack of things, but an abundance of connection, something many developed societies are struggling to recover. The Hadzabe have no electricity. They have no data storage systems. Yet they are not known as a community facing long-term social isolation or the chronic psychological crises often seen in industrial societies. They know what they will eat today. They know how long the forest allows them to stay. They know when it is time to leave. For them, that is enough. Meanwhile, the world of 2026 knows many things. Yet more and more people are no longer sure where they are going. The Hadzabe do not reject progress. They simply show that progress is not the only way humans can exist. Some cultures do not grow in a straight line forward, but in depth, rooted in the soil, in the forest, and in the present moment.
The sun had just risen above the horizon, casting its first gentle golden rays across the African savanna. Amid this peaceful landscape, I followed the Hadzabe, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer communities still preserving humanity's ancestral way of life. For them, each new day is not merely a journey to find food, but also a test of survival against nature, where even the smallest mistake can cost a person their life. In the small camp, the Hadzabe men sat together around a crackling fire. Silently, They inspected each bough, straightened the bowstrings, and sharpened arrows coated with poisonous sap extracted from the adenium plant. The flickering flames reflected off their sun-weathered faces and the calm eyes of these seasoned hunters. This was a familiar ritual before every hunting expedition, marking the beginning of a day in which the entire community placed its hopes in their skill. When everything was ready, the group quietly left the camp and made their way into the vast savanna. The air was almost completely still, broken only by the soft sound of footsteps brushing against the ground and the distant songs of birds. The Hadzabe studied every footprint pressed into the sand, listened to the slightest movement, and sensed the direction of the wind as though it were pure instinct. They did not hunt with haste, but with patience, for in the wild, opportunities reveal themselves only for a few fleeting seconds. Before long, a troop of baboons appeared in the distance, completely absorbed in foraging. Without exchanging a single word, the hunters lowered themselves in unison and slipped through the thorny bushes like silent shadows. I could hear almost nothing except the pounding of my own heartbeat. Then, in an instant, the decisive moment arrived. At the sound of a brief whistle, the entire group surged forward. Their arrows flew from the bowstrings almost simultaneously, slicing through the air with astonishing speed. Within moments, the prey collapsed onto the savanna. Joy spread across everyone's faces, yet there was no celebration or display of pride. They simply smiled, patted one another on the shoulder, and bowed their heads in respect for the animal that had given its life. To the Hadzabe, hunting is not merely about victory, but also about expressing gratitude to nature for providing the gift of sustenance. After the hunt, the group ventured deeper into the forest. One of the men smiled and said that today would be a day for honey. Those few words alone instantly filled the air with excitement. For the Hadzabe, honey is not only an energy-rich food, but also the most precious gift the forest can offer. They stopped beside an ancient tree with a tiny hollow that was almost impossible to notice. Had I been alone, I would never have imagined that a large beehive was hidden inside. Dry branches were quickly gathered and lit to produce a gentle stream of smoke that calmed the bees. The hunter then carefully widened the opening with a series of precise strikes. As the golden honeycomb gradually came into view, he bent down and placed his mouth directly beneath the flowing honey, calmly savoring it even as bees continued to crawl across his face. The laughter of the children echoed through the forest as glistening pieces of honeycomb were carefully removed from the tree. Thick golden honey flowed between their fingers, carrying the rich fragrance of wildflowers and a sweetness that was deeper and purer than any honey I had ever tasted. In that moment, I understood why the Hadzabe have always regarded honey as a source of life, inseparable from their memories and traditions across countless generations. As dusk painted the savanna in shades of purple, Everyone returned to the camp with the rewards of a long day. Baboon meat was roasted over glowing coals beside freshly harvested honeycomb. There were no modern cooking pots or elaborate seasonings. Only fire, stone, and hands that had lived in harmony with nature for a lifetime. The lightly charred pieces of meat were brushed with a thin layer of honey, creating a rich, sweet, and unmistakably wild flavor that I knew I would never forget. This night slowly fell. Everyone gathered around the fire, recounting the day's hunt with hearty laughter while the children listened intently, as though receiving their very first lessons about life. Sitting beneath the flickering firelight in a sky filled with stars, I suddenly realized that I had not merely witnessed an ordinary hunt. I had been given the rare opportunity to experience a way of life that has endured for tens of thousands of years. A life in which people continue to live in harmony with nature in its purest and most authentic form.